coming and trickling in. Just want to let you know I was live in the past 16 minutes and I didn't know about it. So just write down the stuff on chat, say hi, you know what, say hi to everybody, please, okay? And I know a lot of you are a regular attendees, so please just join us. And I see panelists in chat, panelists attendees. All right, so Siri, hi, everybody. I can see you guys. Excellent. All right, so we are going to wait for a couple minutes, if that's okay with everybody. Like I said, this is going to be very casual. And we're going to get started like in about 30 seconds. And apparently I've been live in the past 16 minutes and I didn't know. And so it's going to be a very casual conversation, okay? And I'll go grab something to drink and then, or even something to eat and just watch it. And it's going to be a good presentation, I promise. Okay.
We have somebody, look, Ria. Ria is here. It's her first Pam webinar. She saw you at Content Marketing World.
Seriously? Hi,
Ria. You've got fans.
Very good. I'm not going to read very fast. And by the way, now is 11:01. We are going to get started.
All right.
Hey, thank you so much for coming to my webinar. Seriously. And apparently I've been live in the past 16 minutes. I didn't even know about it. So there were several people were joining in early, was like, Pam, what are you doing? Anyway, I'm here and this is my last webinar and how to create a measurable marketing plan. So I'm going to get started. But if you are regular attendees, say hi. Just say hi. All right. Say hi to everybody. And it's really a community. If you are new, welcome, really. But I'm going to have another, I'm going to do the welcome again when I share my screen. Okay. And we have Elsa. Elsa, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And Elsa is going to be a moderator. And so if I'm not necessarily going to pay attention to Q&A. Most of the time I want to focus on the content. And if there's a very urgent question or relevant questions that's related to the slides I'm presenting, Elsa will interrupt me and actually share that with me. Okay. All right.
Yep,
so
just
Elsa,
type it in and I'll see it.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to share my screen now. And good. Can everybody see my screen? Where do I share? Okay. That was not good. Let me do that again. Okay. Number one. Okay. Can everybody see the screen? Can you? Elsa?
Yes, I can see the screen. It looks good.
Okay, very good. So, well, if you have attended my webinar last time, I literally got Beyonce to welcome us. All right. So that was the last time's welcome slide. And you probably are thinking, okay, who is going to welcome us this time? Who? All right. Guess what? The greatest showman of the life, our life. All right, got Jack. Hugh Jackman. I always got his name confused. I always say like Hugh Jackman. I'm sorry, Jack Hughman. It's ridiculous. But I love this GIF. I mean, is that cute? Originally, I was thinking about using, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Detective Boyle. Do you know him? I mean, I saw this one first, and I was like, oh, this one is good. But then I found this one. I was like, oh, this one's even better. So seriously, welcome to my show. And a quick intro about myself, Pam Didner here, right? And I'm a B2B marketer. That's what I do. I live and breathe B2B marketing. And what I usually do is actually help marketers in terms of identify the ways to support their sales team. And I do that through content marketing, sales enablement, and also the MarTech stack and collaboration and communication. So anything I do is usually in terms of the sales enablement, content marketing, and account-based marketing. I wrote 3 books: Global Content Marketing, effective sales enablement in terms of how to better support sales as a marketer. And the third book is a little ebook I wrote in February this year, The Modern AI Marketer, basically looking into artificial intelligence, how would that impact the B2B marketing landscape. If you are interested in any of these topics, check them out. Today, we are going to talk about how to create a measurable marketing strategy or plan. I have nothing in December, so December, happy holidays. And I already got the next 3 webinars planned out. The number one is how a marketing mindset can lead to a better career opportunities. I want to talk about in terms of how you can build a marketing mindset, right? February is about how to create successful sales enablement strategies. I'm looking into, from marketers' perspective, what you can do to better support your sales team. March, how to create a global content marketing plan. If you need to scale content across the regions, especially to different countries, March webinar is for you. Feel free to register pamdidner.com/webinars or go to my website directly, click on resources and the webinar, and you can register from there. So these are the 3 topics for Q1. If you have attended my webinar, you know that I always talking about marketing from the perspective of how you can think to solve the problems. So I provide templates from time to time, but not always. What I want you to do is help you to think through in terms of how to address some of the challenges. For today is really how to address the challenges of create measurable marketing plan. So if you think about it, there are 2 ways to address this, or 2 ways I want to look into a measurable marketing plan. The first one is marketing plans, that specific element. The other one is measurable. How do you tackle, how do you think through to create a measurement that makes sense for your marketing plan? So let's talk about marketing plan. If you have attended my June webinar, I talk about 7 key elements of a marketing plan. 7, what do you need to accomplish? To whom do you market? What is the product launch timeline? What can we say? What are the marketing channels and campaign timelines? What are the key initiatives for the years, and how much money and headcount do you need to make that happen? So these are the 7 key elements I talk about as a part of the marketing plan that you need to incorporate. And by the way, marketing plans can mean different things to different people and also mean different division. But the one I'm talking about right here specifically is for the annual planning, right? If you look at the annual planning or quarterly planning, these are the 7 key elements that you need. And if you are just looking at those questions, you're like, okay, you know what, Pam, what can I do? What do I need to do to actually address those questions? Well, here are the templates, right? For what do you want to accomplish? It's 2-pager. To whom do you market? It's persona. What is the product launch timeline? And I actually have a template that you can use to create a high-level timeline for product launches and events. What can we say? That's a messaging framework. I have a template for that as well. What are the marketing channels and campaigns timelines? So again, templates. I have the campaign timeline templates and also the marketing channel summary slides that you can use. Key initiative. I created a table that you can identify some of the key initiatives that you need to do and inform your management. And of course, management and headcount. How do you divide and categorize your marketing budget, either by persona, by vertical, by different organization, or even by different quarters, right? So the budget breakdown. I'm not going to go through every single one of them in detail, not today, right? However, you can actually check out my YouTube channels, the best marketing plan for 2021, and 7 key elements of it. And each video is only about 8 minutes long. Jonah, my video editor, has done a great job in editing that of the 29-minute video into a 3 short video that you can follow. So you are going to see the latest one, which is the part 3 tomorrow And I just published the part 1 yesterday and also part 2 today. So if you are interested, checking out the 7 key elements I talked about just now, the 2-pager persona, high-level timeline for product launches, messaging framework, marketing channels, key initiative, and the budget breakdown. Those are 7 key elements. You can check out the videos, right? The key tips that you need to be aware of is you need to know when you create the annual plan, you need to know what are the 3 things you want to communicate. If you are talking to me today or you are pitching to me today about your plan, what are the 3 key points you want your management to know about? You need to identify that, right? Then use the third-party data or some sort of SWOT analysis. SWOT means the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. Do that analysis and find the key nugget to prove and substantiate your points that you want to communicate. Does that make sense? And then reinforce that discreetly throughout the presentation. So when I was talking about the presentation here, these are the key elements that you should have, but how you structure your flow will be different from companies to companies, from industry to industry. Okay, so you still need to think in terms of what is your storyline, what do you want to tell, and you have those key elements that they care, then you flow it the way that you want to flow. Does that make sense? So don't take the templates as it is, modify it as you see fit, and modify it based on how you want to communicate. But the most important thing is what are the 3 key messages you want to get across. You want more budget. Okay, let's talk about that. What are the things that you need to add in those 7 key elements to get more budget? You want to change your content, which is very important. You need to refresh all your content because we are in COVID-19 situation, right? Then use some of the data to support that, right? Then you have to make sure that's incorporated into the 7 key elements. Does that make sense? All right, so don't take the template as it is. Use it as you see fit for your company and based on what you want to communicate. Now let's talk about measurable, okay? When I talk about measurables or measurements, I really mean success metrics, KPIs, key performance indicators, right? So measurements equals to success metrics equals to key performance indicators. These are the terms I use interchangeably for my conversation. And a lot of time when you are talking to your management, they probably use a slightly different terms. Some people will use dashboards. Some people will use, indicators, whatever, or management by objective, whatever you want to use, just to make sure that you are consistent with your companies in terms of how they measure marketing or different functionals organization. Right, but for here is measurements, success metrics, KPI, key performance indicators. So how to measure marketing success? The marketing success from my perspective can be measured based on the objectives and strategies that you set, can be measured based on the management direction, can also be measured based on you or your team's roles and responsibilities. Does that make sense? So I am going to look the measurements from these 3 different perspectives. One is based on the objectives and strategies you said. The other one is, top down. Your management has set up a direction and then you follow that. And the other one is just based on what you do. Okay. I showed this several times, actually, throughout a couple of my webinars. And from a marketer's perspective, it's very important to align your management, like from the get-go, in terms of what you want to accomplish. And the best way to align them is your cover slide of your marketing plan, starting with the business goals and the business objective. This is something that your management is incredibly familiar with. right? They know what they want to achieve. They know what their objectives are. With that being said, you connect that to the marketing objectives and marketing strategy. Try to tie that together. Then you identify whom are the type of segments or the customers you want to market to, and the target countries. Let's assume that you are a global company, that you market to multiple different countries. The key marketing tactics, not every single one, not a tedious every single one, but can you summarize at a certain level? And also KPI, key performance indicators. So the KPI is tied with the marketing objectives and the marketing strategies. Okay, so let me show you an example. This is an example of a two-pager, right? This company wants to increase the revenue to $500 million, right? The business objective is to empower the customer to make decision by delivering. So they are going to deliver an end-to-end software solution of theirs, right? And the marketing objective is about thought leadership, build brand awareness, and drive demand. And if you're looking at the marketing strategy right now, the thought leadership is really about content. You need to create solid content and then use a paid media effort to actually share that information, right? And they want to also support and launch campaigns in 5 different countries for their new product. They want to create a relevant content for the countries who actually are not on the priority list. So there's the priority country they want to go after. There are some non-priority country. They are going to provide some relevant content kit. They want to scale the content management tools into 3 different countries. They also want to make sure they integrate the marketing automation and CRM tools together, right? So for this marketing strategy, remember I said it's based on your strategy and objective, then your KPI at a higher level, not necessarily at the team level, at the higher level, should be something related to a number of the thought leadership content that will be produced, the number of the leads at the local level, number of leads, sales accepted leads, and the marketing qualified leads, right? And because they are launches, so the certain percentage of positive press coverage, and for number of the product launches, and also content management tools implementation in 3 different countries with number of the users trained, right? So this KPI or the measurements aligns with the marketing strategies. Do you see the connection, right? At a much higher level. So this is another way. I want to show you another approach very quickly. This is another way to actually showcase the connection between strategy and objective, but applies to small businesses. By the way, let me say that again. It applies to small businesses or a team with a very limited budget, right? So if you have limited budget or you have a small team or you are small businesses, this actually applies to you. So this is basically, again, business goals, business objective, marketing strategy, KPI, right? Very simple. It's what I call 1-pager, not 2-pager anymore. And this is what I work with my client, one of my clients. And the business goal is to achieve 15 million revenue, right? And the business objective is they want to maintain growth in segment A while expanding in segment B. So it's very sales driven. It's incredibly sales-driven type of business objective. The marketing objective is to make sure that they have integrated brand strategy to drive the growth of these 2 segments. That's it. Very simple, nothing complicated. And the strategy right here, you can see, is build the brand awareness by encouraging opt-in encouragement for a certain persona. Right, the MQL is really about contact us form, people filling out the contact us form from the website. They want to do something new this time. They want to actually enable sales via targeted and strategic account-based marketing. So when I was working with Susan, and she said, hey, Pam, we need to do something different for next year. And I want to submit or have a discussion with my management in terms of what we can do for next year, right? A lot of time your management will ask you what's new. Even though they don't give you budget, they still are going to ask you what's new. what are we going to do? What are we going to do different in marketing? So she wants to kind of pitch and also have a discussion with the management and say, hey, maybe we should do account-based marketing to align with the sales team. And you can see the strategies right here. It's very much aligned with, KPI. The key performance indicators are very much aligned with strategy, right? The encouraging opt-in, and that's the subscribers, right? So it's number of the people subscribed. The NQL is quantified as contact us form, filling out the contact us form from the website. So you just number of the people who filled out the form, right? Web-based lead generation, okay? And because they want to build some sort of a thought leadership, and also they have to have a content to actually reach out to people. So number of the content created for outbound marketing is also critical. They need to create content on a regular basis, right? If they do account-based marketing, they want to be able to track the marketing's contribution to sales. So did you see the connection between how you write a strategy and how that translates into key performance indicators? And I told her, I say, put new here to show that this is a new initiative, that you are giving a lot of thoughts in terms of, hey, you want to do something different for next year to make an impact for the company and also for the sales team, right? Then I take a slightly different approach when I work with Susan, because she is small business, right? Small business has small budget. The 7 key element really doesn't apply to her specifically, right? She doesn't have to create such a big, heavy marketing plan because her budget is very small. Her budget is only $220,000. To be honest, that's not a lot, right? But she has over 200 line items of that $220,000. What I asked her to do is I said, so what have you done this year? Oh, I do a lot of opt-in. I do a lot of demand gen, which is get leads. And I also do a lot of thought leadership. I said, great. So for this year, can you categorize that 200 line items budget into 3 buckets, 3 categories: thought leadership, brain awareness, and demand gen, right? So right here, and she said, but it's not really one-to-one kind of relationship. I say, don't worry about it. Do the best you can, right? So she categorized this way, right? $220,000, about $10,000 is really on the thought leadership. And for the opt-in is about $100,000, $6,300, and demand gen is about another $100,000. I say, okay, great. How many content did you create? Well, my goal for 2020 is to do 10 blog posts per month. And so that's 120. I say, great. Can we do cost per acquisition? Can we? I'm not yet. Sorry. That's good. So projected to December 2020. So how many content have you created? Well, 11 per month, about 140. Great. Green light. Yes, we achieved that goal. Excellent. Right. The brand awareness in terms of number of subscribers that she committed to 195 per month. That's 2,340 total. And based on that, and I say, how are you doing so far? Well, not so good, Pam. Because of COVID, I'm not doing that well, right? So it's average about 96 new subscribers per month, and that's projected at 1,156. All right, so let's just put that yellow. It's a yellow. We did not accomplish the goal, right? The demand gen is web leads. This is the lead that she is responsible. This is not sales leads. This is not anybody else's. It's not biz dev. It's not SDR. It's the people that come to the website and they fill out contact us, right? So she committed to get average about 123 leads per month. But so far, again, not so good. Only 90 per month. Okay, so we put that red. Now, what I help her to write this, I say, basically, what you need to tell your management is you accomplish a lot with less than $220,000. And also, she wants to get more budget. and I say, hey, your marketing budget is only 0.09% of the total revenue. The industry benchmark is about 3 to 7%, right? And she does everything. It's a team of 3 people that has done the content creation, marketing outreach, analytics, everything, the whole enchilada. So you need to remind your management, hey, with $220,000, we accomplished a lot. Does that make sense? So that is the one slide. It's a KPI slide. It's a dashboard slide to show your management how you are doing. And don't sugarcoat it, by the way. Don't. Show the way it is. There are some stuff that you did very well. Great. There's some stuff you just, fall behind. Well, then just show it as a fact. The next things I help Susan did is we took the 2020 spends and we took their KPI projection and we just do a very simple cost per acquisition, right? So what we want to tell management is if the demand generation goal increases, the budget needs to increase as well, right? And we want to prove that to them. So with $10,000 and she was able to generate 140 content pieces, that's really about $74 cost per content piece. Okay, I know I simplified it, I know, and Susan knows that too. But we want to show in a way that management can comprehend, right? So if you want to project to do 165 content pieces, in a way, you need about $12,000. Does that make sense? So it's just a math. You want more, it costs more. Right? Brand awareness, same thing. For $100,000, and as much as she tries, she can only get about 1,156 people. Right? That's about $92 per subscriber. So if you want to increase that to 2,500, that's just going to be $230,000. That's just the way it is. And same thing apply to in terms of a number of 1,080 leads. It's $96, and then that just requires to be $192,000. But a lot of time you will need to write assumption, right? And the assumption is, okay, for this $96, what are some of the reasons that this may be higher or lower? And you need to write that down in terms of, hey, cost per acquisition is low and need to increase with the paid media effort. So we talk about this in terms of, hey, what are some of the reasons or assumption we want our management know, and you document it right here. So for here, this is the budget right here, based just on the cost per acquisition calculation. And this is just a pure math. There is no human judgment or adjustments that apply to it. Here it's adjusted. We know we are not going to get $230,000, all right, and just to get new subscribers. We are not going to get that because that's not directly tied with the sales. So we judge that one down, okay? But for this demand gen, we actually judge up. Why? Because in 2021, there's still no physical events that Susan can go to or help their sales team. And everybody have digital fatigue. If nothing else, we all have email fatigue, we have Zoom fatigue. Then the number of the demand or number of the leads that we're gonna get that's a high quality lead is gonna go up, right? So with that being said, we actually judge this one up. We judge this one down. We judge this one up as well because she wants to do some video production to support account-based marketing. And video production is not going to be $74. Okay? It's not. It's going to be substantially more. So she actually budget that up to about 45. Okay. She also wants to do some paid search. She wants to do some account-based marketing. And so that's just budget the $90,000. The total dollar amount, $640,000. And the 2020 budget is $210,000. Do you think she's going to get 3x the amount? Of course not. She's not. But she's going to start from that point. That's her opening positioning. Does that make sense? That's an open position. You start there and then have a conversation with your management. And all this is kind of a calculation to the point that management can follow, right? And say, okay, fine, you want to judge this one down? Great. This is probably how much we need to spend. There's not a lot of argument to some extent, but I know I simplify it. But this is what, for small businesses or for small team with a finite budget, this is a good way to showcase in terms of marketing's impact. And then I tell her to put all this $640,000 into a slide, right? So $640,000 is going to support your product launch. When would that be? It's going to be organic social, paid search, key events that we want to go to, or virtual events. If I want to do any roadshow. And we are going to have a monthly email outreach. And there are certain money needs to spend on the website updates. All right. So she put $640,000 also in this format that her management can understand. Then the next things that she did is basically key initiative. All the $640,000 will not be 100% focused on marketing outreach. Well, we have to probably buy some tools. We probably have to fix some tools. We probably have to add additional codes. So the backend needs to be integrated even more, right? So some of the money will be spent in terms of website updates, or tool needs to be purchased. If they want to do a video production, should that be in-house or outsourced? If it's in-house, the equipment that needs to be purchased. So write down some of the key initiative that needs to be done, the benefit of it, and also challenges ahead. Voila, that's all the slides that she needed for her management discussion. That's it, 5 slides. Okay. However, talking about measurement, right? Today's topic is measurements. I simplify the cost per acquisition a lot. And I want to put that out there, right? So like if you actually sponsor an event and you have a booth, you spend $30,000, you get qualified leads. You know, you probably get like probably 300 names, but out of the 300 names, 150, you kind of qualify them. That's about $200 per lead. But if you do a pay search, right, and then through the pay search, only about 80 people filled out the contact us form. That's about $200. Okay. If you do email campaigns, and depending on what the email campaigns that you are doing, some of them have a call to action of contact us, some of them have a call to action of opt-in. That's just assume that you spend 50% and 50% on each. Then contact us right here is $40 because you got 50 people actually through the email marketing that you do, and 50 people say, okay, you know what? Why don't you have your salespeople call me? That's $40. And then sponsored content, you actually did some of the retargeting ad and also some of the pay ads, and you spend $15,000 to contact us is about 75. Then that cost per lead or per acquisition is about 266. So the different marketing channels have a different cost per acquisition. You cannot just look at this and say, oh my God, email is most efficient. Then I kill my events, I kill my pay search, I kill my sponsor, and I did everything on email moving forward because it's cheapest. This is, I am looking from the perspective of last interaction attribution. I look at the last stage of the people engaged with me and before they've been qualified or contact us. In reality, this is a customer journey. I probably show up at the event booth, right? I had a conversation with you and the conversation went very well. You did a follow-up email marketing to me multiple times, but I didn't respond and I was busy. Then I saw a couple ads and there's a retargeting ads and sponsor content that reminded me, oh yeah, this company, I talked to them at the event. And I still didn't act. And I decided, oh, then there's a pay search that you did kind of follow me around. And I saw that. I was like, you know what? Now I have time. I want to talk to them. So if you think through that, there are multiple different touch points before I contact you. But right here, I only take the last stage to calculate my cost per acquisition. So this is called multi-attribution model. You need to think through. You cannot just say, all right, this is the cheapest. I'm going to kill everything. I'm going to put money into email marketing, because we are calculating the cost only based on the last stage. But before that, there are many different touch points that happen. You don't see it, or you see part of it. Does that make sense? So what I'm trying to say is, when you are looking at cost per acquisition, is not as simple as this, may not be as simple as what I'm showing here, right? You need to think through the customer journey and take into that account. We did this with Susan. That's because the budget is very small, right? And also the company is actually selling environmental software, and they are very niche. Only certain type of companies that will be interested in this software. So the customer journey is not complicated. Therefore, we take into the attribution model of using what I call the last interaction attribution. So we look into a last interaction attribution, assign basically all the dollars into the last stage, because when they see the last things, they engage with us. That's how we're going to calculate. But there are many ways that you can actually do a first interaction attribution, maybe for the e-commerce site. And then you can do a linear, which is you allocate the percentage to the different, the channels that you market to, or you do a custom attribution, etc. I am not the multi-touch or multi-attribution model expert, but what I want to tell you is you have to take this into account, because measurements and the budget allocation go hand in hand, right? So whatever you calculate in terms of your measurement, that also will have impact to your budget allocation for different channels. So am I talking too fast? So just kind of make a comment if I'm talking too fast, or can you follow? Elsa, does anybody have any specific question at this time?
Just people wanted to confirm that they would be getting a copy of this presentation.
You know, I don't usually send out the presentation specifically, but I will definitely send a version of it out. Or you can send me an email and I will send it to you. Because there's a lot of things I do, like this slide. I mean, you don't need this slide with a GIF.
It's just a huge file.
Hey, here I am dancing around. I'm using a lot of GIFs. So when I send out templates or even the presentation, I am not necessarily I would delete some slides because I don't think it's adding a lot of value, if you will. Okay. So, but reach out to me directly, send me an email, hello@pamdidner.com. I'm more than happy to share a slide deck with you. But no questions so far, right, Elsa? Everybody's following?
That was the only question.
Okay, great. So the next things I want to talk about, does that anybody understand in terms of when I'm talking about you do the measurement based on your objectives and strategy? Does that am I making myself pretty clear? No,
oh, Pam, one question did pop up.
Okay.
Charlene wants to know, where can we download templates?
Ah, interesting. You know, that's actually a great point. And the templates really depends on what you are looking for. You know what? I actually share multiple templates in my community. So Charlene, if you join my community, I will share a slide at the end of the deck. And join my community, I will point to you that the area that you can check to get the templates. Is that okay? Cool. Excellent. So that is the measurement I want to talk about that everybody should be aware of in terms of like your measurement needs to tie with objectives and strategy. The next things I want to talk about is the management direction. Okay, this is more top down. And let's go down to the next slide. Remember I said earlier, a lot of time when I do webinar is I want to help you in terms of how you should think and approach a specific solution. So if it's about measurement, obviously you need to think that what do you want to measure? Start from there. You also need to understand what does your management want you to measure? These are two different topics, right? So because they pay They pay you every 2 weeks. So you need to think through, like, what can you do to contribute to the company, right? So there's a common ground between these two circles, if you will. Senior management tends to care about the following 3 things. They cares about revenue and profit. They care about market share. They care about growth. And this actually tend to reflect in the business goals, right? They basically say, I want to increase the revenue, from 15 million to 20 million. I want to increase the market segment share from 5% to 10%. Or I want to see the year-to-year growth 10%, right? So they tend to care about the revenue growth or market segment share and the sales growth from year to year. What do you care? You care about how much budget you're going to get. You care about how many people you're going to get. You care about brand awareness. You care about demand gen, right? That's what marketing, we care. So here is what I want to show you. So let's talk about the measurements in the marketing, B2B marketing terms. Anything that has a direct impact to the revenue tend to be high quality leads. I'm not talking about any leads. I'm talking about high quality leads. And the leads that they filled out the form and say, hey, I want you to contact me. And at the same time, it has to meet the ideal customer profile of a sales team, right? If I filled out a form, but I'm a small business, and but your solution is really targeted for a mid-sized company and an enterprise company, I fill out the form, but I'm not your ICP, which is ideal customer profile. Therefore, I cannot be counted as a high quality leads. Does that make sense? So they care about high quality leads. They also care about strategic account-based marketing support because that directly impact sales. So these are the things they care about. But for marketing, what are the things we tend to report or measure? Well, number of the webinar attendees, number of event attendees, the PR coverage, the ad impression, the sales support. Oh, I supported sales and I gave them 25 content pieces. Indirect content downloads, social media metrics, website traffic, email open rates, right? This is what I call indirect. So how do you tie these two together? Okay, but there's also exception. There's always an exception to the rules. The thing is, yes, go ahead, Elsa.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Dominica asks, is it like a sales qualified lead versus marketing qualified lead? Should sales tell marketing what is sales qualified lead for them?
Great question. Hold on to that thought. I will address that on slide 50. No, I'm kidding. In one of the slides is coming. Hold on to that thought. Hold on to that thought, all right? Okay, so now there's a direct and indirect. And, I am not saying that marketing cannot show direct impact. There are exceptions to the rules. And let me show you 2 exceptions that marketing actually does a huge impact on sales. But it's, like I said, 2 exceptions, right? And there's one is very prominent. Direct impact on sales through just one ad, one commercial.
If you're a girl from Compton, don't just become a tennis player. Become the greatest athlete ever. Yeah, that's more like it. So don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough.
So this is the last 30 seconds of a Nike commercial that Nike created with Colin Kaepernick, right? And this commercial, literally within days, that Nike sales went up 31%. And they launched this at Labor Day weekend. They see that surge right away. So there is a direct impact in terms of ads or the commercial can have on sales. Okay. But you have to understand this is just one ad. But Nike has done tons of viral ads. Some they kind of hit the jackpot, some didn't. Does that make sense? So they are still creating a commercial. A lot of people will say, oh, this commercial hit, is like, it's creating impact for the sales team. But you have to understand that Nike has done probably 10, 20, 50 commercial like this, but none of them have a huge impact. Does that make sense? So don't just look at one and say, oh, okay, they did it, and the marketing have a huge impact and we should do commercial. That's not my point. A lot of time when you are doing stuff day to day, you still have to look into the leads, account-based marketing, and all other stuff that you are doing day to day. Okay, so that's one exception. I want to share with you that one ad can actually make a direct impact on sales. Another one is also sales related, for example, Black Fridays, right? And many SaaS-based platform companies, like during the Black Fridays, they actually have deal, even Salesforce.com, right? When they are trying to go after small businesses, they also have a discount at the Black Friday sales. So if you are, more and more B2B companies are doing this, especially when you have a SaaS-based platform that you offer a different tiers of pricing for different segments. Like, for example, you target for small businesses, right? And during the Black Friday, you offer a certain kind of discount and to make sure that people actually subscribe for the whole year, right? So the deals and discounts still works, and you can still see the direct impact. But you should not use it all the time. That's not necessarily good for your brand and also the positioning that you are trying to conceive or convey of your brand. Does that make sense? This only works on a certain occasion. The key takeaway here is you need to make sure you make connections between revenue and marketing. Always allocate a portion of your funding to support sales. Always. Have something supporting sales is very critical, not just 100% on marketing, right? And focus on providing high quality leads. I will address, Dominica, I will address this in the next slide. Another thing is when you do content marketing or you are reaching out to you are using certain marketing channels, make sure you have very clear call to actions, contact sales, contact us, request demos as appropriate. Don't do that every single time. That's not my point. But when you write a copy, it makes sense to say contact sales, contact us, we'll make it so. Okay. Now let's talk about high quality leads. To answer your question, you need to work with the sales team very closely to define your lead. And it's not based on lead scoring. You still can have lead scoring, but you should not use that to pass the leads to the sales team. The leads definition needs to be crisp, actionable, right? And nobody can argue. For example, for Lead Genius, the marketing qualified lead is the marketing team will pre-qualify the person. And then this person actually raised the hand, they call it hand raisers, that want to see a demo. If they pre-qualify this person that meet the sales team's criteria, right? And they want to target for 5 different verticals, automotive, healthcare, financial institution. So they have to qualify this person, make sure this person is in these vertical. And at the same time, this person raise a hand and say, I want to see a demo. Then they qualify as marketing qualified leads. And the sales accepted leads is basically criteria is validated by salesperson, right? And the prospect is basically they completed the calibration of the ICP, right? And everybody agreed that, hey, this one is really being qualified and can move forward. The sales team can spend time with them. Okay. So a lot of time the NQL is not very clear in many companies. And a lot of them use the lead scoring. I'm not necessarily in agreement with that. You have to make your lead definition so clear that there's no argument. That's why I call high quality leads. Does that make sense? So, and when I say high quality leads, what you can control as marketing. So Dominica, for your question, yes, conversation with your sales team is very important. At the same time, make your definition super crisp. Okay. This.
Pam, oh, sorry, Pam, just to jump in, we have a couple more questions that I wanted to ask.
Can I actually have a slide that I need to finish. So hold on to those questions until later. Everybody, just hold on to the question because I want to finish the slides.
Perfect.
So this is one way. And this, in general, when you made it so clear like this, it actually put marketing in a very difficult spot. That means you have to really work very hard. I'm not kidding, right? It's like, oh my God, pre-qualify and request for demo. Then you will start thinking what you need to do to make that happen, right? Request for demo is so important for MQL. Guess what? Look at the Lead Genius's website. Everything they do on the front page, the home page, request for demo on the top, request demo here. Watch the video so you can request the demo. That drive the action in terms of how you're going to design your call to action on everything you do. Does that make sense? Because now I've been measured upon request for demo. So that will determine how I am going to show my website. That is going to determine how my email marketing will be. That will determine what content I will create. It has a ramification impact when you define your MQL so clear, right? And look at Salesforce.com. Okay, right here. You can tell the sales conversion or qualified leads, or even leads in general, super important to them, right? Right here, this is only their homepage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything is about conversion, right? Call me, 1-800 number anytime. Contact us, right? Try for free. Start my free trial. Let's chat. This, contact us, 1-800 number, let's chat. They are redundant. From design's perspective, doesn't make any sense. But from conversions perspective, it makes perfect sense for me. They don't want you to miss it. They want you to see on the top. They want you to see on the bottom. They want you to try for free, right? So you can understand how their demand gen, how their marketing be measured. Very critical. It's about leads. Okay. So next things I want to talk about based on your team and your team's role. This, I strongly suggest everybody take this specific slide, do a screenshot, I don't care. Create the marketing function, your own marketing functions, a goals objective, your own objective, your own strategy tied with the business goal, business objective, and the KPI. And if you are doing website, all right, this is how I want you to write your KPI. Your initial API is website traffic. You drive, 10 million website traffic. Great. But write it down in terms of what's the percentage of conversion to NQL, what's the percentage of conversion to SAL. Write that down to help the management think that you are really making impact. It's not make them think, you are making that connection for them. Does that make sense? If you drive content downloads, you have to write down the content download increase certain subscriber opting to attend CEO's product launch event, for example. Write your KPI, make that connection for your management. All right, it's about help the management connect the dots. How does the email open rate influence contact sales, right? So your call to action from email campaign needs to have a customized link so you can track. How do content downloads and website traffic relate to opt-in and webinar attendees? So you are talking about website traffic. Well, then think about it, how that related to the opt-in or the webinar attendees. Can you make that correlation? How does monthly webinar attendance increase the lead qualification? If they attend the webinar 6 times, can you correlate that information with the sales strategic account list in your company CRM? So when you are looking measurement, you have to look at this level. And you are like, that's so much work. I know. I don't know what to tell you. It is work. Okay. Final thought. So understand what measurements matter to your management. Make a direct, indirect connection to the measurements they care about. That's very critical. Not every marketing metrics can directly tie to a sales revenue. Seriously, like thought leadership. How can you tie that to sales revenue? You can't. But you need to help your management understand that. Okay. You still need to do that. We need to still put the money in there. That's the perception we need to create. It doesn't directly drive sales. Understand how marketing data flows within your company. That's a key point. Make that your New Year resolution for 2021. Understand how marketing data flows with your company. Set up a process to track your KPI. So that's my presentation. I know that it's only got 5 minutes left. I apologize, but I really have a lot of content I want to share. The measurement is my passionate, very passionate topics, by the way. And I think it's very important for sales people, for marketing people to understand how to set their metrics or the KPIs. Quick things about me. I do a lot of speaking, keynotes, workshop online. Everything I do now is online. And I do a lot of mentoring and coaching as well. And I do quite a bit of consulting. Majority of my clients are enterprise clients and mid-sized company. Content marketing, sales enablement, account-based marketing, MarTech, sales and marketing alignment. Those are my forte. I built a Facebook community, build your marketing skills to get ahead. I did that on March 31st in the height of COVID-19. I don't know why I cannot tell you why I decided to do that. That was kind of dumb. But anyway, if you want to ask me any question, you can reach out to me on any social media channels. But at the same time, you can ask me a question on my Facebook community. I answer every single question myself. So with that being said, 2 things before I want to close. I know people has a question. I want to wish everybody happy holidays. Can you believe it? 9 months into this, and we have a holiday coming. Yay! And I don't have any webinar in December. I want to take a break. And I do actually have 3 webinars that's coming up in January, February, and March. I will see you next year or see you at my Facebook community. So, Elsa, what's the question? Share that with me, please. Okay. And you can stick around. Anybody, if you have to drop. If you want to stick around, feel free. And I will answer your question. Go ahead.
These are pretty good questions. So I'll start with the first one.
Sure.
How do you track marketing contribution to sales if you are a large organization, but you don't have a strong CRM tool?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a very tough one. That's a very tough one. If you don't have a strong CRM tool, it's very hard. If you don't have a strong CRM tool, you are in a big enterprise, that means you have to do a lot of stuff manually. There's no other way out. So my recommendation, there are 2 recommendations I would suggest. Number 1 is you take time and kind of work with your sales team to kind of like build the CRM first. The other one is it possible you have a budget, you outsource and hire like kind of like a data analyst on Upwork or anybody that you know or the agency that you work with. And work with that data analyst and look at your current CRM and see if that person can help you do some analysis, data analysis together. Of course, you need to answer specific questions based on specific objective. Look into our CRM. You basically partner and work together with somebody who is technical. Does that make sense? And then that person do a lot of analysis on your behalf. And then you look into that data and see if you can identify some low-hanging fruit as a quick win that you can do, or to showcase some of the contribution. Is that helpful? I hope that's helpful. That's what I would do if I have a budget. Okay.
Okay. So the next question is, this is from Jennifer. She says, what is the difference between personas and ICPs?
Great question. I love that question. So good that you ask. Persona is basically, okay, I want to explain that in probably 2 different ways, in a very plain English. And I tried, it's not like I'm trying to simplify it, but I want to help you understand. Okay, in the very simple case, right? In a very simple case, Toyota, Toyota's corporate marketing, Toyota's marketing team, they market to drivers like us. We buy the cars with Toyota, brand name, right? So the marketing team will market to consumers, right? But the sales team, Toyota doesn't sell their car directly to me. They go through dealers, right? So their corporate sales team, imagine their corporate sales team, they talk to dealers. They don't talk to consumers. Does that make sense? So let's assume they have to increase new dealers in some states. They have to identify who are the people they have to go after to actually qualify them or make them a dealer. So that's ideal customer profile on the sales side. So when I talk about ICP, it's what sales thinks is a good candidate that they will close deal with. That's on sales side. But when I'm talking buyer's persona, it's the marketing people that will market to the product, that they will say, okay, I love your product. I'm going to the Toyota dealership to buy your car. So do you see the difference? The buyer's persona is what marketing will do to actually market to that specific segment. The ideal customer profile is the people that will write a check for my company to close the deal. They are different. They are not necessarily the same. In some companies, they are the same, but in many companies, they are different. Is that helpful, Jennifer? Any other questions?
So there is one from Kelsey. She says, is there a place we can visit to understand percentage marketing budget to revenue for our industry?
No. Yes and no. A lot of time, I know that there's a lot of third party, but they are proprietary information, like a lot of time Forrester's or IDC, they will do research or survey on a certain vertical in terms of how much the marketing budget they spend on specific vertical. But a lot of that information you have to purchase, and they are not cheap. And what I will do, this is what I'll suggest you to do, Jennifer. So Google, right? Google is your best friend. Google is everybody's BFF at this time. So Google and type into the marketing percentage budget for your industry. And you're going to get a lot of probably references and the sources. I will pick 3 or 4 sources, okay? And just read them and pick that and use that as a benchmark to determine what the percentage should be. When you are talking to your management, you can quote those 4 sources. You don't quote 1, you quote 4. So to show that you have done some work. Is that helpful? Okay. Any other questions, everyone? Is it helpful? Is this helpful, guys? I mean, serious. I spend a lot of time on GIF. You can tell I don't spend a lot of time on my content, right? I spend like, if you follow 80% and 20% rule, I literally spend 20% of the time on content, 80% of the time finding GIF. Is that pathetic or what? I'm kidding. I actually spend a lot of time on content. So, all right. So any other questions, everyone?
Pam, VJ had one last question. He asked how to create a messaging framework.
Oh my God, my favorite topic. And I actually write a very lengthy blog post. And Elsa, can you send that to, can you add that to the link?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put the link in the chat.
Okay, so I wrote a very lengthy blog post and how to create messaging framework. And I talk about messaging framework for product specific, for thought leadership, and actually for say low cost, high volume messaging framework. It goes, you know what? I'm not going to go into details, and I have a blog post. I suggest that you read it. And on the bottom of that blog post, I actually have a template that you can download. So you will not disappoint. Seriously, many people like that template for B2B. So, any other question?
I think this is one last one, and I think this is actually a good question to end on, Pam.
Okay.
So Charlene wants to know, where would she go to find any additional resources where she can read or access information like this that you've talked about?
Oh my God. I think my YouTube channel is actually great. If you are interested, and you can just watch some of my YouTube channels. And my YouTube channel is always, I wouldn't say boring, but it's very, how should I say it? It's very relevant for B2B marketing. So I would check out my YouTube channel if you are interested. And I don't publish on weekly basis. And Jonah, who is my video editor, and I will determine the right topic and what we think is good, and we publish. Then I create a video for it. So a YouTube channel, another one is a blog post, and the other one just like ask me questions. Like on my Facebook community, I answer every single one of them, and I make sure I answer with substance. I don't just like create fluffy answers. I don't do that. It's not Pam. Anyway, very, very good. Yeah, so this is like Teresa, if anybody want a deck, you have to send an email to me. I don't usually share the deck, and even I share the deck is a bridge version. So I hope it's useful. Sound good? All right, everybody, seriously, happy holiday. Okay, I will see you guys around next year or at my Facebook community. Take care. Bye.